In the vast tapestry of life, where relationships and encounters shape the essence of our existence, discerning whom to help and avoid is a skill of profound importance. Rooted in the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, choosing where to channel our energy is not just practical. It is essential for our personal growth and inner peace. The ancient Stoics, including thinkers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, taught that our emotions and reactions are dictated not by external events, but by our interpretations. They implored us to take responsibility for our responses and to seek wisdom in all our endeavors. However, even with the noblest intentions, offering aid to those resistant to change often proves fruitless. The truth is stark yet liberating. Transformation cannot be forced upon those who refuse to acknowledge their flaws. Helping others is an act of courage and compassion, but it must also be tempered with wisdom. Some will reject guidance, cling to self-defeating patterns, or even drain our energy with their negativity despite our best efforts. In understanding this, we align ourselves with one of the core tenets of Stoicism, focusing only on what lies within our control. To invest our limited time and effort into those unwilling to grow is to squander our precious resources for our development and the betterment of the world. This video explores the 10 types of individuals who, for various reasons, resist the light of self-awareness and personal accountability. It serves as a guide for those who seek to live with clarity and purpose, navigating relationships with discernment while upholding the principles of Stoic philosophy. As you listen, allow these lessons to deepen your understanding of preserving your energy, cultivating meaningful connections, and ultimately living a life aligned with virtue and wisdom. Let us journey together into this exploration, where ancient philosophy meets the modern challenges of interpersonal relationships, and discover how the wisdom of the Stoics can empower us to live more intentional, fulfilling lives. 1. People who never admit their mistakes. Among the many challenges we face in our journey of self-development, encountering individuals who refuse to admit their mistakes is among the most draining. These people shield themselves behind a veil of denial, avoiding accountability at all costs. They deflect blame onto others, external circumstances, or sheer misfortune while robbing themselves of the opportunity to grow. For them, admitting fault is not a pathway to wisdom but a threat to their fragile ego. The ancient Stoics regarded humility and self-reflection as pillars of personal transformation. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself of the importance of examining his actions honestly and recognizing mistakes as opportunities to align himself closer to virtue. Yet, personal growth becomes an elusive concept for those who reject this principle. They perpetuate cycles of avoidance, never questioning their own decisions or actions, and in doing so, remain stagnant. Trying to help such individuals can feel like pouring water into a broken vessel. A futile exercise drains your energy and leaves no lasting impact. They may offer excuses for their failures, such as blaming poor outcomes on luck or external interference, rather than acknowledging their role. Whether it's a failed project, a fractured relationship, or a missed opportunity, their narrative consistently absolves them of responsibility. Over time, this refusal to confront reality fosters a sense of entitlement and victimhood that can be deeply toxic to those around them. Consider this. You cannot impose humility on someone unwilling to embrace it. Attempting to teach accountability to those who deny their faults is akin to planting seeds in barren soil. The effort is noble, but the outcome is unyielding. When such individuals refuse to learn from their failures, they inevitably repeat them, dragging others into their cycle of deflection and blame. To protect your peace and cultivate relationships that foster mutual growth, it's crucial to recognize these patterns early. Set firm boundaries and manage your expectations. Remember that while compassion is virtuous, enabling destructive behavior is not. Instead, focus your energy on those open to reflection, accountability, and the transformative growth process. As Stoics teach us, We cannot control the actions of others, but we can choose how we respond. In choosing wisely, we preserve our strength for pursuits that align with wisdom and virtue. 2. People who always blame others. Blame is the shield of those unwilling to face their inadequacies. For some, pointing fingers at others becomes second nature, a reflexive response to any difficulty or failure. These individuals live under the illusion that their problems are always caused by external forces, other people, society, or circumstances beyond their control. While comforting in the short term, this mindset directly contradicts the Stoic principle of taking responsibility for one's reactions and choices. Epictetus taught that we must focus on what lies within our power, our judgments, decisions, and actions. However, those who constantly blame others relinquish this power entirely. By refusing to look inward, they deny themselves the chance to grow. Instead of seeing setbacks as opportunities for improvement, they externalize their struggles, creating narratives where they are perpetual victims. Over time, this behavior stifles their development and strains relationships with those around them. Imagine a person who consistently blames their failures on others, the student who accuses the teacher of being unfair after failing an exam, the employee who insists their poor performance is due to an incompetent manager, or the friend who attributes their lack of success to the world being against them. These individuals rarely pause to question whether their actions or choices played a role. In doing so, they forfeit the profound lessons that failure can teach. For those who try to help, the experience is often frustrating and disheartening. Offering advice or guidance to someone entrenched in a blame-driven mindset is like speaking to a wall. They may listen politely, but their perspective remains unchanged. They will likely dismiss your efforts or even perceive your attempts to help as criticism. This resistance can sap your energy and leave you feeling powerless. The Stoic response to such behavior is both practical and compassionate. Instead of becoming entangled in their web of excuses, step back and allow life to teach them its inevitable lessons. Experience is often a far more effective teacher than words. Sometimes, they can only begin to see the patterns they have created by enduring the consequences of their choices. Meanwhile, your responsibility lies in preserving your peace and channeling your efforts toward those who value growth and accountability. By recognizing the futility of changing someone who refuses to change themselves, you uphold the Stoic principle of focusing on what is within your control. Let them walk their path, even if it leads to struggle, while you continue your journey toward wisdom and virtue. 3. People who seek opportunities for selfish gain. In every interaction, some approach life with a sharp eye for opportunity. People who appear driven, resourceful, and eager to seize the moment. On the surface, this trait may seem admirable, even inspiring. However, beneath this exterior lies a more insidious pattern, pursuing opportunities purely for selfish gain, often at the expense of others. These individuals view relationships not as mutual bonds of growth, but as tools for advancing their agendas. The Stoics valued collaboration, mutual respect, and the collective good over individual ambition. Marcus Aurelius urged us to act as part of the greater whole, reminding us that no one flourishes in isolation. Yet, those who exploit opportunities for personal gain without regard for the well-being of others defy this principle. Their vision is often narrowed to their immediate benefit, leaving them blind to the damage they cause to relationships and the trust they erode. Consider a colleague who constantly takes credit for group achievements or a friend who only reaches out when they need a favor. These individuals may disguise their intentions with charm or flattery, but their actions speak louder than words. They need to understand that genuine success, as the Stoics saw it, is built on integrity and the support of others. Using others as mere stepping stones creates an illusion of progress that is ultimately hollow. Trying to guide such individuals toward a more virtuous path can be deeply challenging. They may dismiss your efforts, seeing your perspective as naive or irrelevant. Worse still, they may attempt to manipulate your goodwill, exploiting your desire to help. Engaging too profoundly with them risks draining your energy and leaving you disillusioned. The Stoic approach to dealing with such people is grounded in discernment and self-respect. Recognize their patterns early and establish firm boundaries to protect your time and energy. Avoid entangling yourself in their schemes, no matter how tempting it may be to save them from their short-sightedness. Instead, focus on cultivating relationships with those who value reciprocity and shared growth. Ultimately, we cannot force others to adopt the principles of integrity and cooperation. But by standing firm in our values and refusing to enable opportunistic behavior, we set an example of living virtuously. As the Stoics teach us, true fulfillment comes not from exploiting others, but from acting in alignment with wisdom, justice, and the greater good. 4. People who wear masks of self-made images. In a world shaped by appearances and social expectations, many individuals hide behind carefully crafted personas, presenting their idealized versions to others. These self-made masks are not born of malice but of fear. Fear of judgment, rejection, or inadequacy. Such individuals construct these facades to protect their fragile sense of self, but in doing so, they stray far from the Stoic principle of living authentically and embracing truth. The Stoics valued self-honesty as a cornerstone of growth and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius urged us to see things as they are, not as we wish them to be, reminding us that truth is the foundation of inner peace. Yet, those who cloak themselves in illusions miss this vital lesson. They become trapped in their false narratives, unable to confront their flaws or learn from their mistakes. These masks may serve as temporary shields, but they isolate the wearer, preventing genuine connection with others and obscuring their path to self-awareness. Imagine someone who projects an image of relentless success, hiding their struggles and vulnerabilities behind a polished exterior. They seem confident and accomplished to the outside world, yet within, they wrestle with insecurity and self-doubt. This dissonance strains their relationships and deprives them of the freedom to grow. Living inauthentically requires constant effort, as the fear of being unmasked creates a perpetual cycle of anxiety and denial. For those who wish to help such individuals, the journey is difficult. Their attachment to their constructed identities is often so deeply ingrained that they resist any attempt to peel back the layers. They may perceive your efforts to guide them as threats rather than acts of care, clinging even tighter to their illusions. This resistance can leave you feeling frustrated and powerless, questioning whether your support makes any difference. The Stoic response to such behavior is one of patience and clarity. Led by example, demonstrating the strength and liberation of embracing authenticity. Be a mirror of self-honesty, but do not expect immediate transformation. As the Stoics understood, some lessons can only be learned through experience. Allow them the space to confront their reality when the time comes while preserving your peace and integrity. Ultimately, helping others remove their masks is not about forcing change, but creating an environment where authenticity is encouraged and valued. As the Stoics teach us, we cannot control how others perceive or present themselves, but how we respond. By embodying truth and compassion, we inspire others to take the first steps toward embracing their true selves. And in doing so, we fulfill one of the most significant goals of Stoicism: to live in harmony with ourselves and those around us. 5. People who dwell solely on the negatives in life. Life is a delicate balance of joy and sorrow, triumph and struggle. While challenges are inevitable in the human experience, some focus exclusively on the negative, fixating on hardships and grievances as the defining elements of existence. Such individuals are caught in a self-perpetuating cycle of pessimism that clouds their ability to see the beauty and potential in the world around them. The Stoics believe that our perspective shapes our reality. Marcus Aurelius advised, You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Yet, those who dwell solely on the negative reject this wisdom, allowing their thoughts to be dominated by fear, anger, and despair. Instead of seeking gratitude for what remains good, they magnify their problems, casting shadows over the light in their lives. Consider the friend who never seems to have a kind word to say, always complaining about the state of the world, their relationships, or their circumstances. Their negativity is contagious, drawing others into their orbit of gloom. You listen, hoping to offer comfort or perspective, yet they dismiss your encouragement, preferring to wallow in their frustrations. Over time, their pessimism can erode your sense of hope and resilience. Helping such individuals is a daunting task. Their fixation on the negative is often deeply ingrained, a product of habit or fear of disappointment. Attempts to shift their perspective are met with resistance, as they cling to their grievances like a shield. This unwillingness to release their burdens hampers their growth and risks dragging others down. The Stoic approach to this behavior is one of mindful detachment. While compassion urges us to support those in pain, we must also recognize our limits. It is not our responsibility to carry the weight of their negativity, nor can we force them to adopt a more balanced outlook. Instead, focus on maintaining your stability. Offer gentle reminders of the Stoic principle of gratitude, encouraging them to see the opportunities for growth hidden within their struggles. But do so without sacrificing your well-being. Ultimately, some individuals will only learn to let go of their negativity when life compels them to do so. In the meantime, protect your peace by setting boundaries and seeking relationships and mutual growth. As the Stoics teach, we cannot change the thoughts of others, but we can choose to guard our minds, ensuring that the light within us remains untarnished. By doing so, we embody the resilience and wisdom that Stoicism calls us to cultivate. 6. Betrayed individuals who struggle to trust again. Betrayal cuts deep, leaving wounds that are not quickly healed. Whether it stems from a broken promise, a dishonest act, or a breach of trust, the pain of betrayal lingers, shaping how individuals view relationships and the world around them. For some, this pain becomes a barrier to moving forward, trapping them in a cycle of suspicion and guardedness. They struggle to rebuild trust, even with those who approach them with genuine intentions, and often remain shackled by their past. The Stoics understood betrayal as a natural, albeit painful, part of the human condition. Epictetus famously taught that we cannot control the actions of others, only our responses to them. However, this wisdom is often difficult to embrace for those profoundly hurt. The scars of betrayal can foster fear, anger, and an overwhelming desire to protect oneself, making it challenging for these individuals to open their hearts to new possibilities. They construct walls to avoid further pain, unaware they also prevent healing and meaningful connection. Imagine someone who a close friend or partner has betrayed. Their ability to trust is shattered, and every interaction is filtered through the lens of doubt. They may question the motives of even the most well-meaning people, interpreting kindness as manipulation or generosity as an ulterior motive. In trying to shield themselves from further hurt, they inadvertently isolate themselves, creating a lonely existence where genuine relationships struggle to thrive. Supporting someone who has been betrayed requires patience, empathy, and boundaries. It is tempting to try to fix their perspective, but trust is not something that can be restored by force. Instead, show them what trustworthiness looks like through consistent actions and honesty. Encourage them to reflect on the Stoic principle of resilience, reminding them that while betrayal may alter their past, it does not have to define their future. However, they do so with the understanding that the healing journey is ultimately their own. The Stoic path in these situations also calls for self-preservation. While it is noble to offer support, do not allow their mistrust to consume your sense of peace. Set boundaries that protect your well-being and recognize when it is time to step back. As Marcus Aurelius advised, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. By embodying the virtues of trust, integrity, and resilience, you offer them a silent yet powerful example of what it means to live with strength and grace. In time, those who have been betrayed may learn to trust again, not because they forget the pain, but because they find the courage to rise above it. Until then, be a steady support source without compromising yours, and remember that true healing can only come from within. As Stoicism teaches us, even in the face of betrayal, there is an opportunity for growth, wisdom, and renewal. 7. People who believe the universe owes them. Entitlement is a pervasive mindset that distorts one's perception of reality. Individuals who believe the universe owes them harbor an inflated sense of self-importance, expecting rewards without effort and privileges without responsibilities. They perceive themselves as the center of the cosmos, deserving special treatment simply for existing. This attitude starkly contrasts with Stoic philosophy, which teaches humility, self-reliance, and an understanding of one's place within the larger tapestry of life. The Stoics emphasize that we are part of a greater whole, subject to the natural order and the unfolding of events beyond our control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs?" Those who feel the universe owes them reject this wisdom, believing they would bend to their desires. When reality fails to meet their expectations, they react with frustration, bitterness, or blame directed at others. Consider the individual who expects career advancement without completing the necessary work or developing their skills. They might become resentful when others are promoted, attributing their lack of progress to favoritism or unfair circumstances. Offers of mentorship or advice are dismissed because they believe they shouldn't have to change. The system should recognize their inherent worth. This refusal to acknowledge personal responsibility hinders their growth and sows discord between professional and personal relationships. Engaging with such individuals can be draining. Attempts to help are often met with indifference or entitlement. They may expect you to solve their problems without effort. They believe your support is another thing they owe rather than a generous act of goodwill. This dynamic not only exhausts your resources, but also reinforces their misguided beliefs. From a Stoic standpoint, it is essential to recognize the limits of your influence. Epictetus taught us to focus on what is within our control, our actions and attitudes, and accept what is not. You cannot instill humility or a sense of responsibility in someone unwilling to embrace these virtues. Instead, allow them to encounter the natural consequences of their mindset. Life has a way of teaching lessons that words cannot convey. By stepping back, you protect your well-being and uphold the Stoic principle of living by nature. This doesn't mean you withdraw compassion, but rather that you practice wisdom in how you extend it. Encourage autonomy by not enabling their entitlement. When they face challenges that require personal effort to overcome, they may understand that fulfillment and success are earned through action, not bestowed upon demand. In your own life, continue to embody the values of humility, diligence, and gratitude. Recognize that the universe operates on principles beyond our desires. Our task is to align ourselves with its flow. As Seneca advised, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. By appreciating what you have and working earnestly toward your goals, you demonstrate a path of contentment and purpose. Ultimately, those who believe the universe owes them may one day realize they are responsible for their journey. Until then, focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. In doing so, you maintain your inner peace and stay true to the Stoic way, inspiring others through your actions rather than words alone. 8. People who fail to manage their time effectively. Time is our most precious resource, Yet many squander it as if it has an infinite supply. Those who fail to manage their time effectively live in disarray, unable to prioritize what truly matters. This chaotic approach to life undermines their progress and impacts those around them, creating frustration and missed opportunities. For the Stoic, time management is not merely a practical skill but a moral imperative, a means to live with purpose and intention. Seneca reminds us on the shortness of life. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. People lacking time management often fall into procrastination, overcommitment, or distraction patterns. They delay critical tasks, hoping to make up for lost time later, only to find themselves overwhelmed by looming deadlines. Others fill their days with activities that offer little value, mistaking busyness for productivity. This misuse of time reflects a more profound failure to recognize its fleeting nature and the importance of aligning actions with one's highest priorities. Imagine a friend who always seems overwhelmed, missing deadlines, canceling plans, or struggling to keep commitments. Their intentions may be good, but their inability to organize their time undermines trust and reliability. When you try to help, offering suggestions or systems to improve their focus, they may brush off your advice, claiming they are simply too busy. Yet their busyness is often self-inflicted chaos, a symptom of not taking control over how their hours are spent. The Stoic response to such behavior begins with understanding and boundaries. While it is natural to want to assist, recognize that meaningful change must come from within. The person must first see the consequences of their disorganization and develop a desire to improve. Offering advice is valuable, but it is not your role to impose solutions or bear the weight of their inefficiency. Instead, lead by example. Show through your disciplined use of time how structure and focus can lead to a more fulfilling life. Helping someone manage their time requires patience and a willingness to step back. Encourage them to reflect on their priorities and align their actions with their goals, a concept central to Stoic philosophy. Remind them that every moment spent carelessly is a moment taken from something meaningful. However, do so without becoming entangled in their disarray. Preserve your time and energy by setting clear boundaries. Ultimately, time management is an expression of how much we value our lives and the lives of others. The consequences for those who fail to see this will eventually become apparent: missed opportunities, strained relationships, and unfulfilled potential. As Stoics, we cannot control how others spend their time, but we can control how we spend ours. By valuing our time and using it wisely, we cultivate personal growth and inspire those around us to do the same. In the end, time waits for no one. To waste it is to waste life itself. As you interact with those who struggle with this essential skill, remember that your responsibility lies in preserving your time and living by your values. Let your actions speak louder than words, and trust that the lessons of time, though often harsh, will ultimately guide others toward a more purposeful existence. 9. Self-centered individuals who prioritize only their own needs. Self-centered individuals view the world through a narrow lens, one that places their desires and experiences at the forefront while disregarding the needs and emotions of others. They dominate conversations, dismiss the struggles of those around them, and seek validation without offering it in return. Relationships are often transactional for such people, serving as platforms to fulfill their interests rather than opportunities for genuine connection and mutual growth. The Stoics taught that we are part of a larger community, bound by shared humanity and a responsibility to support one another. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What injures the hive injures the bee." Yet, self-centered individuals reject this interconnectedness, isolating themselves emotionally even as they demand the attention and resources of others. Their inability to empathize or reciprocate kindness creates an imbalance that can strain even the most patient relationships. Imagine a colleague who frequently interrupts meetings to discuss their achievements but needs more interest in team discussions. or a friend who always turns conversations back to their problems, never pausing to ask about your well-being. Their behavior is not necessarily malicious. It often stems from a lack of self-awareness or an ingrained habit of placing their needs above all else. However, this dynamic can be exhausting for those around them, leading to feelings of neglect or frustration. Helping such individuals is a delicate endeavor. While you may feel compelled to guide them toward greater self-awareness, their resistance to introspection often makes this task challenging. They might perceive your efforts as criticism or attempt to shift the focus back to themselves. This can create a cycle of disappointment where your energy is spent without meaningful progress. The Stoic approach is to set firm yet compassionate boundaries. While it is essential to act with kindness, you must also protect your emotional well-being. Avoid enabling their self-centered behavior by refusing to always cater to their needs or tolerate their disregard for others. Instead, demonstrate empathy and humility in your interactions, offering a model for how relationships can thrive through mutual respect and consideration. At the same time, recognize that change must come from within. As Epictetus taught, a man can't learn what he thinks he already knows. If a self-centered individual is unwilling to reflect on their behavior, your efforts to help will likely be in vain. Focus instead on maintaining your sense of balance and directing your energy toward relationships that nourish and uplift you. Ultimately, the presence of self-centered individuals in your life offers growth opportunities, not by changing them, but by practicing the Stoic virtues of patience, resilience, and discernment. Recognizing their behavior and responding with clarity and compassion reinforce your commitment to living harmoniously with others. DG creates deep, more profound, fulfilling connections with those who genuinely value and reciprocate your efforts. 10. People disinterested in growing intellectually or personally. One of the greatest tragedies in life is encountering individuals who lack the desire to grow, either intellectually or personally. These people choose stagnation over progress, avoiding challenges that could lead to transformation. They resist feedback, dismiss learning opportunities, and cling to their comfort zones, preferring the familiarity of their current state over the uncertainty of improvement. For those committed to self-development and philosophical inquiry, engaging with such individuals can feel like standing still while the world moves forward. The Stoics revered the pursuit of wisdom as the highest calling. Seneca wrote, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." In this sense, growth is not merely a luxury but a moral obligation, a way to align oneself with the nature of the universe and fulfill one's potential. However, those who reject this path remain confined by their unwillingness to evolve. Their resistance to growth limits their potential and creates friction in relationships, as their apathy can discourage or even hinder those around them. Consider a colleague who refuses to adopt new skills despite the changing demands of the workplace, or a friend who dismisses meaningful conversations about self-improvement as unnecessary. They may even view efforts to grow as futile or burdensome, projecting their complacency onto others. This mindset prevents their progress and can also weigh down those striving to better themselves, creating an environment of inertia and frustration. Attempting to inspire growth in such individuals is often a thankless task. Their disinterest in change can manifest as defensiveness or indifference, making breaking through their self-imposed limitations difficult. While your intentions may be noble, the reality is that growth must come from within. As Epictetus taught, no man is free who is not master of himself. Until they recognize their need for development, external efforts to motivate them are unlikely to succeed. The Stoic response is one of detachment and focuses on what lies within your control. Rather than expending energy trying to change someone who resists it, invest that energy into your journey of self-improvement. Be a living example of the value of growth, demonstrating through your actions and attitude how continual learning and reflection lead to a more meaningful life. This silent influence often speaks louder than words, planting seeds of change even in the most resistant hearts. At the same time, it is essential to establish boundaries. Protect yourself from the potential discouragement or negativity from close association with those who refuse to grow. Seek relationships that inspire and challenge you, and prioritize environments that foster curiosity and ambition. Ultimately, the decision to grow, or to remain stagnant, is a profoundly personal one, embodying the Stoic virtues of perseverance, humility, and self-discipline. You honor your commitment to living a life of purpose. And while you cannot force others to follow the same path, your example may one day serve as the spark that ignites their transformation journey. In this way, you uphold the Stoic ideal of pursuing excellence while respecting the autonomy of others. Conclusion: life is a journey of choices, and the people we surround ourselves with significantly shape that journey. As the Stoics remind us, we cannot control the actions or mindsets of others, but we can control our reactions and the energy we invest. Recognizing the types of individuals who resist growth, humility, or accountability is not an act of judgment, it is an exercise in wisdom. By stepping away from those who hinder our progress, we create space for relationships that nurture our potential and align with our values. The teachings of Stoicism are not merely abstract principles. They are practical tools for navigating the complexities of life. By applying these lessons, you cultivate the discernment to focus on what truly matters, the strength to protect your inner peace, and the courage to live in alignment with virtue. This path is not always easy but gratifying, leading to a life of purpose, clarity, and fulfillment. If you found value in these reflections, consider joining us on this journey of growth and self-discovery. Subscribe to our channel to explore timeless wisdom from the Stoics and other philosophical traditions. By staying connected, you'll gain insights to enrich your life and strengthen your resolve to live with intention. Together, let us continue to seek the truth, refine our character, and build a community dedicated to the pursuit of wisdom. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to walking this path alongside you in the coming videos. Remember, the power to grow lies within your hands. Take the next step today.